you, as an IT recruitment specialist who's been in the industry for quite some time, would you agree that it's also important for IT professionals to highlight their soft skills and personality in addition to the technical capabilities?
100%. You have all the technical skill set, but if you are not able to articulate it when you are having a conversation with your hiring managers and all, those skills are basically of no use. So I think it is very important that the technical people have soft skills and all. And they can do that by taking a lot of trainings and going for meetups and all. I mean, this is like pretty much like a practice session. The more you do it, the more you ace it, basically.
Yeah. Because really, in addition to them needing to have those technical capabilities, they need to be able to communicate technical or do technical translations, don't they? Like to lead business leaders, customers, other stakeholders. Yeah,
100%. Yes. So I think in any field of work, you are in technical, non-technical, communication skills and personality is very important.
Yeah. It's a cultural fit as well, isn't it? It's all about the cultural fit.
Yes. 100%,
yeah.
Yes. And there are a lot of ways, people who don't have it, there are a lot of ways to actually hone those skills.
Yeah.
So it's not that if you don't have it, you have no place in the market. There are a lot of ways you can actually hone it and train yourself to be ready, basically.
Yeah. Like you say, go and do some training courses. And I was going to refer to LinkedIn. So obviously, your LinkedIn profile is a great second asset that you should use when undergoing career change or career development, because you can put more of your personality into that. And also, there's a lot of training opportunities on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah? A lot of them, yes, for free.
So, what would you say the first elements are of a resume that you review when evaluating job candidates?
So whenever I get a job role from the hiring managers, very first question I ask is, what are the absolute 5 negotiable skill set?
Yep.
So whenever I'm checking the CV, those are the 5 pointers I'm first looking for.
Yep.
If they match the requirements in terms of those technical skill set, then I will, go ahead and pick up the call, pick up my phone and give them a call to basically probe them further, to give me more details about their background. So the very first thing that I would see as a recruiter is whether they match the skill set at all. And then, of course, the cultural fit and all of that comes much later on when you are having a conversation with them and all.
You dive deeper, yeah?
Exactly. But the first thing to basically note is whether they even match the requirements that the hiring managers have set for this role.
And would that be on the first page in particular?
I wouldn't say that, to be honest to you. I'm not very much into cover letters, to be honest.
But the first page of a resume. So, for instance, I set one up with the key skills and your career history, etc. Yeah, make that the snapshot.
The snapshot, generally, the first page pretty much covers their technical summary and all of that, or their professional summary and all,
and the career history and stuff.
Yeah, correct. It really doesn't give you any kind of technical know-how, that they have done. So when you scroll down a little bit further, when they have got their experience, that is when you actually come to know whether they have done what the client is looking for. So they will. The first page is pretty much like a kind of summary, and then.
And would I be right in the advice I often give clients is that first page is the hook to get the recruiter in to then want to look further.
Correct. Yes, 100%. Yes. That is if they have really aligned their CV according to the job description that is being given by the client.
Have that come through on the first page as well. And what I'm thinking as we're speaking to is what you're highlighting is the value in engaging with the recruiter throughout the process. So I'll often say to clients, ring the recruiter to confirm what's required in terms of key selection criteria, for instance, how it's to be addressed, but also to get a feel for what they're really looking for that role. Yes.
Yes, 100%. I mean, and it works both the ways. Recruiters need to get in touch with the candidates. There have been times wherein I have asked a lot of my candidates to write key selection criteria, which they have done it, and I know they are very good for the role, and they have not done up to the mark. And I don't mind giving them a call again and basically coaching them to make sure that their key selection criteria is right, so I can sell their CV better to the clients. And the same goes for the candidate as well. It would be good idea to basically call up the recruiters, to
Yeah.
get the feedback and do follow-ups and all, because we get so many CVs on daily basis. So it would be it is always a good idea to be at the forefront all the
Helps you to
time.
stand out. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. With 100 CVs that we review, it is very hard to remember whom we have spoken to and all. So when you get a candidate who is getting in touch with you, being a little proactive in his
Yeah.
approach and all, you
Yes.
tend to remember them.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Okay,
yeah,
yeah. I'm glad what I'm preaching is aligns with
no,
what
no, you
recruiters
are
are wanting. That really the design isn't as important as the content. It's the content
yes.
that matters in a resume. You've got to make it as quick as you can for the recruiter to digest the content in terms of your career experiences and capabilities, yeah?
100%. I mean, I'm so, whenever I see the CV, when I see a lot of tables, if I see it in a PDF format, first of all, I see a lot of tables. If I see their photos and all, or logos for that matter, it is so distracting. I mean,
Yeah,
I just want to see the
distracting. That's a good
content.
point, yeah.
Yeah. I just want to see the content, because that is what my conversation has been with the managers. What
Yes,
is
yes.
it that they are looking for? So, and of course, as a recruiter, when we are presenting CV to the managers, we have to present it in a certain way. Now, I have to format it according to the standards my client is looking for. It is
Right.
going to be so hard for me to format all of that, remove the tables, remove,
Yeah.
remove the logos. I mean, it is when you're short of time, that is specifically
Yeah,
when you are
exactly.
when you have got just 48 hours to deliver, and you see an absolute very good CV, but at the back of your mind that it's going to take you ages and ages to
Yep.
basically format. I
Yep.
would keep that aside as a backup in case if I don't come across anybody, I'll revisit it. And more than often you do come across a good CV.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that is basically forgotten. So
So
I would
so
really
think
suggest.
So think like a recruiter, really. You've got
Yes,
to
yes,
think like a recruiter when you're actively applying for roles, don't you? Make it as
yes,
easy as
100%.
possible for you guys to digest and distribute that content.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So obviously there's benefit. Like, so I will create, say, a master resume for a client, but I
Hmm.
then recommend I give them tips on how to tweak it for the
Hmm.
different roles because you may be applying for the same job type, but different employers are looking for different strengths based on that job type. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's worth taking the time to adapt that master resume version for each role. And that looks good to
correct.
you guys as well. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And but you have to be the candidates have to be very mindful that whatever they are putting it in the CV, they need to back it up with their experience during interview. So
Yeah.
be prepared when you are aligning your CV according to the job description, because the questions are going to be asked from the CV itself.
Yeah.
So that is something you have to be really mindful about. That okay, you are aligning it. That's fine. That's great. But then please back it up. Please be ready that the questions are going to be asked around it.
So aligning it with credibility behind it.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah,
be
I know
prepared.
sometimes I've had the odd client where like they've perhaps created the resume themselves or someone else has created it. But then when I'm working through that information with them, sometimes they don't even know what something is saying about them, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's so important to know every
Yeah.
bit of that resume that you can back it up, yeah, in a
Yes.
discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. And what about digital assets? So I'm assuming, like, if you're further investigating these clients after receiving or candidates after receiving their resume, you're then going to potentially go and look them up online. Yes, say on LinkedIn.
Yes. Yeah. These days in technical environment, if you don't have LinkedIn profile, you basically don't exist.
Yeah.
And as a recruiter, whenever I see a CV and I feel, okay, great, I'm going to be putting this candidate forward, I always make sure that I see their profile details and everything in
Wow. Yeah.
LinkedIn just to see if the dates and everything is correct, whatever they are saying they have worked is correct at all or not. Just kind of a glimpse, to get an idea on
Yes.
their background and all.
Yes.
So, if you don't have LinkedIn, you don't have credibility in the market, or
Yeah.
you don't exist in the market, basically. So,
Yeah.
it is
Wow.
very important to have those digital footprints when it comes to your professional background. Not just that, specifically for technical people, it would be a good idea to create portfolios and all in GitHub.
Yep.
So along with your professional background, there are a lot of clients who want to see what have you been doing outside of work, when
Yes.
it comes to technical projects and all. So preparing a GitHub to keep yourself updated is a very good idea.
And LinkedIn, and I know IT people use other platforms, but LinkedIn is, I call it the one-stop shop. Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can add so much about yourself on LinkedIn, personal and professional. Yeah. So that's a really valuable asset for people to have. And that's really interesting that you say if you're not on LinkedIn, you don't exist. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the first question I'll ask, in my mind. I was like, I'll be like, why is this candidate not there?
Yeah.
Is it even is he even a legit candidate? That is the first question that will pop up in my mind. Sorry about that. But
do you know
I
what
think
what I'm thinking is, as you were saying earlier, where you'll check the resume against the LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn's public. So
yes.
if they're saying it about themselves publicly and then it aligns with the resume, well, that deepens the credibility, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. That means they are not really lying. They are telling the truth.
Yeah. So I focus on career branding. Yeah, like I think there's a real value in people having their own defined brand these days, particularly for online. Yeah. So do you think that would add another layer, like that helps them to stand out more when they've got that clear, consistent branding across their assets?
Yeah, 100%. I think more than that, even personal branding is very important. And I think LinkedIn does add to that, if you really go to see. You are being active on LinkedIn and everything. It does. And of course, having a GitHub and all, it does add to all of that.
Yeah.
So,
Just
personal branding and
all
career
these
branding
ways
is
to
very
stand
important.
out, yeah, where it's so competitive out there now. So, like, consistency across your digital assets, including via career branding, but also consistent information is and your paper assets, not just your digital, but it's really going to help you to stand out, yeah.
Yes, 100%. I mean, you have to be relevant in this market. It is so competitive out there. For one job, we have got at least 100 to 150 applicants applying for this role. So, what is it that basically makes you stand out,
Yeah.
from other applicants? So,
I'm glad you said 250, because that's a figure I often cite.
quote.
Yeah. There's generally at least 250 applicants for most
Yeah,
roles. Yeah.
and trust me, it is true. Right now the market is so competitive. We have got very less jobs. So whenever there is even one job posted, there are so many people, applying for the role.
And it's really this discussion's really highlighting the value of being strategic.
Yes.
And methodical with your job applications. Don't just do blanket.
100%.
Some people just send out their resume everywhere. They don't engage with the recruiters. They don't adapt it. You've really got to take the time with each application, don't you? Be strategic and methodical. Yeah.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. So going back to the career branding that I regularly speak and write about, I also talk about how that inspires us to promote our uniqueness and our differences. We really do live in a multicultural world now, and LinkedIn's bringing us all closer and closer together, yeah? So it also aligns with the growing prioritization of diversity and inclusion. So what do you think about that?
We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different countries, and we bring such a rich experience and perspective to the table.
Yep.
So I think having these days, STEM in IT. I mean, sorry, females in STEM is being promoted a lot. So I think not just that, even people from different cultures and all in IT and all, I think they can really bring their diverse idea, uniqueness to the table. So and we live in a country wherein immigration is top notch. I mean, it is very easy to get visa. At least it was back before COVID. So we have such a rich resource talent pool and all from other countries, and also it is very important to consider all of that and make sure that the companies have got policies and all in place which actually promotes diversity and inclusion. Not just that, I feel that in fact, I'm talking from my experience. I worked in companies and everything wherein they have had policies in place, such tight policies when it came to diversity, that we had to recruit 40% of female per year.
Right. Yeah.
So out of the 3 CVs that we are submitting to the clients, we at least one have to be a female.
Yeah.
And if a female applicant is basically put forward, they always make sure that they are always interviewed and all, and given that opportunity. Unless, of course, the candidate doesn't really match the requirement.
Yeah, of course. So, but the employers are conscious of it, yeah?
Exactly. Yes, 100%. So I think, we are in an era wherein people are becoming more and more open to the idea of having females in the team,
Yes,
having people from different backgrounds and diversity in their team and all, which is great.
it's
So
wonderful. And just
it's very good. Yeah.
touching on that cultural diversity, because I know, like, I've been writing resumes for over 13 years now, yeah, career documentation, and years ago, really, you would be subtly saying to clients, like, recruiters are more interested in what you've been doing in the local market. But I'm seeing a shift, like when I work with clients now, we definitely recognise more of what they've done overseas and how that's advantageous for the local market. Yeah, and I think LinkedIn's probably helped to have us shift our mindset in terms of being culturally diverse and the importance of that. Yeah.
And I really feel that LinkedIn has played a very major role in making sure that the world is basically becoming smaller because of our social media and LinkedIn and all of that.
Yeah.
So
and there's value in bringing in those experiences from other countries. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yes, 100%.
Which is wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, just not that. But we even see that a lot of companies from other countries are opening their branches in Australia,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
that makes a lot of difference as well. And I would definitely give a lot of credit to our immigration policies and everything for that.
Yep.
Our policies are so great that any overseas company can come and open their branch and all.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of difference as well.
Absolutely. And then obviously post-COVID, so many people work from home now, and it's recognised how you can do so much from home. I think that's just opened us up to global opportunities as well, including from an IT perspective, yeah?
So I think all of those factors have really made the world so small that today we can easily say that, all people from other cultures and everything can basically,
You talked about diversity and inclusion, including from a gender and cultural perspective, and something else in terms of impactful world trends is AI. So I know IT IT professionals need to embrace AI from a technical specialization perspective. But how do you feel about them using it in, for instance, job applications?
I mean, I really, to be honest to you, I will never reject a candidate if he or she has used, any AI tool to basically create a framework. The issue will be when they are not able to back it up with their experience.
Because they haven't done the deep dive yet.
Correct. Yeah. And two, when they have not really, basically put their human touch to it, in the sense that edited according to their actual experience. So it's okay to take support of the AI tool to create a framework, kind of, help with the formatting and probably grammar or
maybe just the foundations of the content.
Exactly. But if you're just going to keep it as is, it's going to really look very robotic.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to put your personal touch to it to let us know what you have actually done in the project. Those things AI will not be able to help out with. Only you can tell us what the project was all about and all. So it would be a good idea. It's okay to use it, but please edit it in a way that you can make it look professional, but you can even give life to it.
I think you have to be careful of so AI is a support tool, as you
exactly
said.
Yes.
And I think we have to be careful because it can make us lazy thinkers. Yeah. And if you're a lazy thinker, when it comes to discussing the content in your resume, well, if you haven't really put much thought into it and much effort into it, you're not going to sound very credible when you start talking about it with recruiters.
Yeah, and you will not be able to basically properly back it up. I mean, you need to show your credibility during the interview time, and that will come across only when you're putting some kind of touch to your resume. So in a nutshell, I feel that it's okay to use it. Just do not use, create everything and leave it as is and send it across to the managers or recruiters.
Yeah.
Edit it in a way which sounds like you. And back it up with your, of course.
So use it as the foundations, but then enrich it. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So I know when I work with clients, we have like a deep dive consultation where I really probe them about what they've got in their resume, for instance. So AI is not going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is never going to do that. It will give you a good, it will align your CV according to what the hiring manager is looking for. But what you have done in your personal professional life, only you know better.
Yeah.
So I think you should give some kind of life to it, in the sense that, give your touch to it, write it in your own words, paraphrase it if you have to.
Yeah.
Create a framework using it, all right, but paraphrase everything to make it look a little bit that you have done it yourself.
Can you
and be prepared during interview.
I know I spoke to a friend recently who's a marketing manager, a marketing executive, and she had to go through over 250 job applications for a team member role. And she said she could immediately identify the ones that were AI generated. So can you easily, because they all sounded the same, she said.
Yeah, they all sound the same, and it's so typically written. They have got dashes, and they have got it sounds overly professional.
Yeah.
I mean, you do come to know,
fluff, isn't it? It's got a lot of fluff.
Yes.
But not a lot of substance.
It sounds overly professional. Yeah. We never talk like that during interview time.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to put the human into it.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So I really feel it's okay to use it, but please paraphrase it in a way that, it sounds that you have done some editing. You can paraphrase it, do some editing, and it's okay to use it as a kind of a framework.
Support tool.
Use it as a supporting tool. Yeah,
and I imagine it potentially conveys to recruiters and even employers that you're not someone who puts in the effort. If you've sent a resume that's just purely AI generated, well, that's not conveying you as a staff member or a team member that's going to put in that extra effort that they'd be wanting. Yeah.
Plus, you will always have doubts in your mind whether he or she will be able to pull the work that is basically going to be given to them during the job.
The critical thinking, creative thinking.
He or she, will he or she always need AI tool at all for everything? We need somebody who can use their critical thinking to make sure that they are able to resolve problems at work and not always rely on AI tool. So we are actually, it's very sad, but we are getting into the era wherein people are eventually going to get into the stage wherein they are completely dependent on AI tool. And to curb all of that, it is a good idea from now itself we start shortlisting candidates who are not so dependent on it.
Yeah, that's a really valuable insight. It's funny because I had a chat with a young fella a month or so ago, and he was having trouble. He's just graduated from his course, and he's having trouble getting a job. I've got AI to do that. And when I said, you're not going to stand out if you use AI, you're not going to differentiate yourself. And he said, well, recruiters use it, so why shouldn't I use it? But like, you're creating the competition. He is part of the competition. There's a difference.
Yes. And honestly, people feel that we use AI. It is not so often that any recruiter will use AI at all. In fact, I would like to point out that in a lot of companies, AI is banned right now.
Right.
Not a lot of companies have got access to AI tool. Not yet. And that may be because of resistance to using AI and all. We will definitely cross that particular bridge as well eventually. But speaking right now, there are a lot of companies who have banned a lot of AI tools.
Wow.
So the companies itself feel that you need to stick to a traditional way of doing stuff.
It's keeping it human too. Yeah, I just attended a symposium, an AI symposium recently, and did a presentation about human to human connection is still going to matter.
Very important. Yeah, no matter how much ever AI can cover, cover up the work and everything and take care of everything, that human connection will always be needed
going to
in
matter.
Any job. Yes, even for recruiters, there are a lot of people who are saying that AI is going to take away the job of the recruiter eventually. But what about that human connection? What happens to that customer experience?
Absolutely,
that is so important.
That human engagement, picking up on the energy, etc.
Yes.
Yeah. And nice segue into the next question I was going to ask you, which was whether you agree that networking and promoting yourself both online and in person is important now. Yeah, that ties in with my career branding.
Yes, it's very important. As I mentioned earlier as well, we have, for one job, we get at least 100 to 150 applicants. And what is it that actually sets them apart from others?
Yep.
And that is their personal branding, career branding.
Yeah.
It is very important to do networking in this, in this tough market at the moment. wherein there's so much of competition. It is very important to be out there. People need to know that you exist in this market. Doing a lot of podcasts, meeting a lot of people, and staying on top of the market.
So it's
You
establishing yourself as a specialist, like you just touched on the podcast here. That's
Yes.
That online presence, like on LinkedIn,
Yes.
etc. Establishing you as an industry specialist in whatever you specialize in IT. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, and just not that. It is very important to be on the top of the market trends and everything as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
You
and
need
that's
to
through
read a lot.
networking as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially if you are looking for a job and all, it would be a good idea to create GitHub projects in GitHub to create your portfolios and all.
Yep.
So because there are a lot of clients who want to know what have you been doing outside of your general professional work. Have you been staying up to date in terms of the technologies at all or not?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
skilling yourself, doing a lot of certification, and of course LinkedIn training. They are also free. Always be at the top of, and at the forefront of everything.
So
um the
stay
mark Yeah,
active. Stay active. Yeah.
stay active. Technology is going at 1,000 miles per hour
Yeah.
speed at the moment. It's advancing.
I can't keep
So
up with it.
it's very hard to keep up. So it would be a good idea for graduates, or for that matter, anybody who is looking for a job role in this dynamic market,
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
tough market, to stay ahead of everybody,
And
ahead of the curve.
particularly when we talked about earlier, like how globally competitive it's becoming too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
yeah, we
more
have
reason to be active and interactive as much as you
yes,
can.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, great. And is there any other insights you'd like to provide from that IT recruitment perspective? Anything maybe we haven't covered that would be really valuable for people to know about?
Yeah, the market is very tough right now, and I would really urge all the candidates who are looking for a job, or even for that matter, graduates, to do not shy away from picking up the phone and speaking to
Yeah,
the recruiters,
so
and
important now.
yeah, and
Human to
meeting
human
them for coffee.
connection.
Yes, and meeting them for coffee. That is how you remember them. That
Yeah,
is how you remember their face. That is how you remember that you had meet the certain person. So be good in networking. Be proactive in networking, picking up the phone and everything.
yep,
And of course, staying ahead of the market in terms of always understanding where the market is at. The market trends and all. Reading a lot about it. Creating GitHub portfolios if needed
yep.
on your projects and all. And just be a little bit proactive in terms of staying relevant in the
Yeah,
market, and
yeah,
keep
yeah.
your keep your keep your LinkedIn also very updated, because that is first thing we generally would see
Yeah.
when
Do
anybody
you
applies to the job
actively
role.
look for people on LinkedIn, by the way? Like for
Oh, I
candidates?
am big on LinkedIn
Okay.
recruiters. I
Yeah.
am big. In fact, whenever I get a job role, I of course post an advert, because while I'm actively and proactively looking for a candidate, I even want from simultaneously candidates who are sending across CVs and all. But I'm very big on LinkedIn recruiters, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
okay.
And
Yep.
people who actually we generally come across a lot of passive candidates who are really not looking, but can get tempted when you are actually discussing a job role. So those candidates come from LinkedIn, seek talent and all of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm very big on LinkedIn recruiters, and I think, like me, there are a lot of recruiters who are very big on it. So it would be a good idea for them to keep their LinkedIn always up to date.
I always say LinkedIn just brings in opportunities you may never have
Yes.
expected. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of people who don't even post adverts on Seek, but they will post adverts on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
because they know that they'll get their best candidates from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it is always a good idea to be a little bit more relevant and active on LinkedIn. You can
Yeah.
get your jobs from there, basically.
I love LinkedIn. I am a big advocate of LinkedIn. It's,
Yeah.
like I said, the
Yeah.
one-stop shop, yeah. It offers
Yeah.
so many opportunities for all professionals and all professional contexts, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.